Hi, hello, David here. I did a live stream last night and the most common question that I got was, what do you think about everything going on with the major channels of people leaving and also going to different companies or starting their own new thing? I guess I'm sort of qualified to talk about this because I've literally been on YouTube since 2006. However, I have seen empires rise and fall on this website. And I think it's just an interesting thing to just quickly talk about. So there's already a few videos that broke this down already very well and probably shorter than what I'm about to do. But here's my 2 cents about it. I'm gonna break it down in 2 ways. An automotive YouTuber who's an individual or a small team, AKA me, I do everything, right? I film it, I edit it, I travel, I answer the emails, I do everything. Versus, say, a big automotive YouTube channel, such as like Hoonigan. The major difference with these sort of things is the investment. Eventually, these companies get offered an investment from a big company, say like Wheel Pros, and they say, hey, we'd like to buy your IP, we love what it represents, and we love to give you more investment, right? By doing that, that means you can expand your business, but you might have a change in leadership. But this usually is not the creative's fault. Almost ever. And I'm actually gonna use an example outside of the automotive community, and that is Rooster Teeth. If you did not know who Rooster Teeth was, it's one of my favorite YouTube channels back when I was young. They made a series called Red versus Blue. It was really fun. It used Halo. I was super into Halo when I was young, and it was really funny. It's just a really funny series. But eventually, they got offered to get bought out by Warner Media, aka Warner Brothers, and the ship just went like this. Like, as soon as that happened, just straight to the ground. They changed a whole bunch of stuff. They changed their logo to an atrocious logo. The branding was wrong. A bunch of the hosts left. You might be seeing a pattern here. The reason I bring this up is because Red vs. Blue, that series that I talked about earlier, was made by like 5 guys in a bedroom with 4 Xboxes. That was the beginning of their entire corporation. Eventually, they had an entire hangar in Austin. Now, do I think that's what's gonna happen with the companies you guys are thinking about today? Not really. Not really, no. They still do a ton of work behind the scenes too. I think that's another thing that a lot of people don't realize is there's a lot of work that goes into like a donut media video. There is so much work. Reason a ton of big YouTube channels end up getting external investment is when they end up growing. So when you end up hiring staff and hiring editors and hiring all this kind of stuff, it's not like me, where if I have a video that bombs, yeah, it sucks. I'm still probably going to be okay because I can say, all right, take a step back, we'll get it next time. Now imagine that situation where you have a video do really badly, but you have a ton of staff and a rent of an office or a garage space or anything like that. Yeah, that's really bad. So you're going to have to make videos that do well pretty much every time. And if you have videos that a certain YouTube channel does and gets big views and you don't like it, unfortunately, they're just doing what it takes to pay for the employees, right? They're doing what it takes to keep everybody around. When you're a smaller channel or a startup channel, you don't have to worry about that as much. You're just focusing on growing yourself rather than like a team, if that makes sense. Now, if you don't know, on YouTube, basically to make a video successful, you have 3 things. You have your click-through rate, and then you have watch time, and then total watch time. So you need clicks, then you need the watch time, then you need total watch time for a video to be a success and get put in the recommended tab. I always have really great watch time, but I have a really hard time getting people to click on my videos. I shouldn't be admitting this, but that's why you see my channel does this, right? Because not everybody is going to be into my experimental car videos, right? It's not gonna happen. I'll throw out a documentary, I'll throw out a review here, I'll throw out something else here. But I just like to experiment, but it does come at a cost. Now imagine you have a video series that basically goes bonkers every single time, like 1 million, 2 million plus views, and you know it works, you know you get those 3 requirements. Then you also have a staff and a corporation and everybody to please. You're gonna keep doing that video, man. It's a double-edged sword. Sometimes you get trapped in a box, right? Some people could argue that this versus that has trapped Hoonigan in a box, right? Because it's like, okay, it works, it gets everything done, we get the views we need, and that's it. that could be viewed as a box. I think that Big Time is more of a grassroots YouTube channel with a little bit higher quality. I think what they're looking for is the bro hangout in your home garage, right? That is something I think a lot of people are seeking out nowadays rather than these massive shops, massive headquarters. I understand that. I totally get that. They want to feel like they're more related to the builds that they're doing. Now, I want to be absolutely clear. I think all the guys at Donut are incredibly talented and they deserve the positions that they're in. The hosts are amazing. Justin's awesome. Nolan's awesome. I love those guys. It is human nature to want to move on to different things. It's human nature to do things for yourself that make you feel more fulfilled. Because people come and go from companies all the time. People want to do their own thing, especially if you have a creator or entrepreneurial spirit. It's not uncommon. Now, when it comes to, I think, automotive YouTube has peaked, I don't really think there's ever going to be a peak per se, but I do think that the expectations are the highest they've ever been. I think that people are so numb to everything that no matter what you do, it just doesn't really impress people anymore. Because I remember when I started my 2J project in my S13, everybody was like, whoa, that's crazy. Now, like, everybody's done a JZ S13 or 240, right? Just kind of like a normal day at the office. And also the struggle of building cars, I don't think is shown as much as it used to be. So I think a lot of people think you can just do an engine swap, do a transmission swap, do the wiring, do the fuel pump, do the axles, do the transmission, do all this stuff, and bada bing, bada boom, it's done. I think a lot of people don't realize how difficult it is to build cars and how expensive it is to build cars. Imagine if I was a gaming YouTuber, but all I had to do was buy a nice PC and then put in hours to get good at a game, right? That's your investment. When it comes to automotive YouTube, you're spending tens of thousands of dollars just to be in the race, right? Just to be in the realm of possibility. So when people ask me, like, how come you don't have an editor and how come you don't have a staff and everything? Because I just can't. I just have to do everything on my own, which has a double-edged sword. It has one, I get to do anything I want, but I also have to really stretch myself thin in order to make it happen. But that's the advantage of having a team, right? You bring in people, then you have to bring in sponsors. Okay, now you've brought in sponsors. Okay, now you've been offered an investment to essentially expand your team. Okay, well that takes some weight off of one of the other guys, right? Because now you have another staff member. Okay, but now we have to get more money to pay for this extra staff member. And then it just kind of keeps going, right? Depends on the channel, it depends on the situation. It depends on any business, really. YouTube is a business at the end of the day. It's a fun, creative business, but there's really no such thing as time off in this business. You're always thinking, you're always creating, you're always innovating. That could be with a massive team or just an individual. Also will say when it comes to the peaking, we are at an all-time high of like, just everything at full blast, right? Everybody has a big shop. Everybody has a headquarters. Everybody has whatever, right? And I'm guilty of this too. I'm sitting in my office. I could easily work from home, but I have a warehouse and I have an office space, mostly just to separate work from home. I think the main question we should all ask is, how many cars does an automotive YouTuber have to go through to survive? My builds don't do as well as just my reviews or even me just talking in this office. So why would I spend the tens of thousands of dollars to do builds that just don't hit? My Coyote Swap S13 series was the worst performing video series ever. And this isn't me complaining. It's just the value proposition. Why should you build these cars for all this money, nearly bankrupting yourself? Like my Hellcat Magnum I did, that almost bankrupted me. So then it put me in a situation going, do I even do car builds anymore? That's what the creative process is like on YouTube. You have to find what works and then you lean into it for at least a little while and then you escape. I think that's the best course of action. You lean into what works, you do it for a while, and then you find that next thing. That's what's kept me around for over a decade. I've never been the top YouTuber or automotive YouTuber, but I've at least been able to have a career in this due to that formula. And a lot of big corporations can't do that formula. And that's really scary, right? When you have mouths to feed. What do you guys think about all this? Just curious, put it down in the comment section below. And on that note, thanks so much for watching this quick little video. I appreciate every single one of you, and see you this week. I'll be uploading a lot more this week, I promise. Okay, bye.